Shaven Gisbergen completes his first Cup Series trip at Richmond Raceway and scores a top 15 finish and finishes in 14th place. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel and welcome back to our video. As I just said a second ago, Shaven Gisbergen has completed his first Cup Series trip to Richmond Raceway and scores a solid top 15 finish in 14th place. One of the highest finishes he's had on an oval so far in 2025. So Shaven Gisbergen had a decent qualifying lap going before unfortunately hitting the outside wall and fading back a little bit to 27th position. And I was really worried after having some damage on the car that they would have to go to the rear of the field, but luckily for Shaven Gisbergen, he would keep his 27th starting position and would start in 27th position. Now, early in the race, Shaven Gisbergen would fade back a little bit when the field was a lot closer at the start of the race. Guys like Kyle Larson got by him early, and guys like Kyle Busch are getting back by him. But what I noticed early in the race for Shaven Gisbergen is he would be using the outside line very, very well. Kind of similar how Kyle Larson does it at tracks like Kansas, for example, or Michigan, or tracks like that where he's really going to run the high line like Las Vegas while in Homestead. He was running the high side and really was actually getting the high side to work very, very well. He'd be the first driver to really get up there early in the race, and it would actually help him. Sure, he would lose a little bit of ground going in the corner, but Shaven Gisbergen started slowly but surely moving his way up to the front. He started passing a couple guys in the middle of the pack. He got by guys like Riley Herbst early in the race, got by guys like Zane Smith, I believe, early in the race, and was charging his way up to the front. By the end of stage number 1, I believe Shaven Gisbergen would be up around the top 20. He played a little bit of strategy as well, come to pit road a little bit early, advance his position, and would come off the corner and be inside the top 25 at that point. Meanwhile, I believe it was Denny Hamlin or Tyler Reddick, who would come off the corner and win stage number 1. Stage number 2 would begin for Shaven Gisbergen, kind of running around a similar position and once again fade back a little bit. But what I noticed once again, like stage number 1, as the tires started coming in, SVG started moving forward and continued to charge his way up to the front, and he actually would be around 20th to 22nd position at this point of the race. But he started moving forward once again, and his car really started coming in at that point. He got by guys like Carson Hocevar. He passed Michael McDowell. At one point, he was up around where Kyle Larson was in this race at one point. He was not as high as his teammate Daniel Suarez, but was ahead of his teammate Ross Chastain and was running around that 20th position at that point. But once again, like I said, he got the high side line working. But then he played a little strategy in stage number 2 and came down pit road a little bit earlier than some guys and actually jumped some guys on pit road and moved up a couple positions, stayed out actually long, and his car would come in once again and started passing guys. By the end of stage number 2, Bubba Wallace there would be a caution actually that come out for his teammate Daniel Suarez that ran in the back of Ty Gibbs or Tyler Reddick got damaged. That'd be one guy that SVG would not have to pass. He actually had damage on pit road as well thanks to a contact between him and Ricky Stenhouse that actually put him a lap down. But what saves Shaven Gisbergen will be a caution for Cody Ware, who ended up spinning out after contact with John Hunter Nemechek and would get back on the lead lap and started charging his way back up. That was after, of course, there would be a big wreck that would happen around halfway through this race. Kyle Busch would get in the back of Chase Briscoe going down the back straightaway. Briscoe spins. It creates a massive chain reaction. I believe collects Brad Keselowski, Denny Hamlin. I believe Daniel Suarez may have gotten some damage. Chastain nearly got involved. Ty Dillon nearly got involved where they thought SVG got involved. Meanwhile, and in Chase Elliott got right rear by Kyle Busch at that point. Meanwhile, Shaven Gisbergen hung back there on the restart and would gain a ton of positions at this point and restart around 22nd or 23rd on the restart. And from that point, SVG started moving forward. Bubba Wallace would then come off the corner and win stage number 2, with I believe Daniel Suarez being second at that point, and SVG would be up there around 20th or 21st. And then going into stage number 3, Shaven Gisbergen started coming into play. He started really working the high side very, very well and really good, and would start advancing his position. He got ahead of guys at one points like Chase Briscoe and Carson Hocevar and Ty Gibbs and all those guys up front, and was coming toward the front at this point. And by the middle of stage number 3, he was actually running around 11th or 12th position. He was running around the top 10 at this point, competing with guys like William Byron and Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin, all those guys in the middle of the pack, and would get up as high as 12th or 13th. He would fade back a little bit. Brad Keselowski got by him at one point, and a couple other guys on fresher tires were getting by him, but he would come down pit road a little bit later in the race. But then at one point, he would actually be inside the top 10 around 9th or 10th position, but he would fade back a little bit as the run progressed. He would fade back to around 13th or 14th and would actually go a lap down at that point. but he started passing a couple guys. He got by Carson Hosmer, was trying to play a long strategy. He got by Kyle Busch and was running down guys like Chase Briscoe and William Byron near the end of the race and end of the event, and was coming back very, very quickly at them. But we'll run out of time to catch Chase Briscoe as he'd be the first car one lap down. He would come off the corner, get a decent finish. Austin Dillon would come off the corner and get an upset and pretty shocking win. And Shavin Gisbergen would come off the corner and finish in the top 15 for only the second time on an oval so far this year and get a 14th place finish at Richmond. I think this is one of the best runs I think Shavin Gisbergen has had so far in 2025 on the ovals. We all knew coming into this year that Shavin Gisbergen was probably going to struggle on the ovals. But what I've noticed in the second half of the regular season especially is that number 88 team has been improving. Not just on where race pace, but their qualifying speed has gotten a lot better as well. Imagine if they didn't have that mistake in qualifying. He could have qualified inside the top 20. He could have been in the top 10 at points in this race, which, like I said, he was up to 10th or 9th at one point in the event. And he legitimately had a very solid and really good car. And they talked about this, but he needs to be finishing around 17th or 18th in the playoffs to have a chance to make it. He finished 14th tonight. If he runs 14th the rest of the regular season on the ovals especially and going into the playoffs as well, who knows if he can make it past the first round, especially with a guy like Austin Dillon who, no offense, I don't think is going to make it past around 16 at this point. I think he's got a really good chance of making it past the first round because we're going to Darlington pretty soon where he is going to be really strong at. He's probably going to be really, really fast when we get to other tracks. Gateway's an unknown at this point, but a lot of road course guys like Austin Cindric run really good at this track, so I expect him to be a pretty big factor when we get to Gateway, considering Trackhouse has shown some pretty good speed at that track in the past. And I think that SVG could be an outside factor for a decent run there. And Bristol's the one I worry about for Shavin Gisbergen, but runs like tonight, especially on short tracks, this was a very impressive run because tire management was going to matter, and Shavin Gisbergen, we know, is one of the best drivers in the field when it comes to tire management. So for SVG, tonight was an excellent and really, really good run. He needed a solid night. I didn't think he was going to be great tonight, to be honest. I thought he was going to struggle compared to his domination because we all know he's been fantastic at the road courses with 4 wins so far this year, but the biggest thing is the ovals, but he's been getting a lot better on ovals as the season has progressed and went on. And I think that this 88 team has a lot to be proud of and a lot of things they can be proud of after tonight's event. He showed some good speed. Yeah, Alex Bowman, who was getting upset and frustrated with him at the end, which I don't really understand why Alex Bowman was upset about. I get that Bowman was trying to catch Austin Dillon, which he was, but SVG was running the outside lane, holding and trying to basically be the first guy a lap down and probably trying to get back on the lead lap at this point. Can't blame SVG for doing what he had to do there. But a solid night for Shavin Gisbergen. That's been what I've been wanting to see. Tonight was a great run for SVG to score top 15. He should be really proud about that and glad to see they got an amazing run tonight. One of his best runs I think he's had all year. Shows some amazing pace and really good speed. Good to see this team have a top 15 run and finish in the top 15. A great run for Shavin Gisbergen. A solid night for Trackhouse altogether, considering Daniel Suarez had a great run finishing inside the top 10. Daniel Suarez, we also don't know where he's going next year. Probably going to Junior Motorsports at this point, but who knows with Connor Zolch moving up. I can't wait to see this team continue to improve, and I hope he can continue finishing in the top 20 on ovals going forward into the future. So, that is going to be it for the Shavin Gisbergen breakdown from Richmond Raceway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Notifications on so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that. Go for this. And comment below your thoughts on today's video. What's your thoughts on Shavin Gisbergen's performance in this past weekend in Richmond? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow morning on the channel, we're going to have the 2026 NASCAR Cup Silly Season predictions dropping. Then, of course, we are going to have another video dropping on Monday, NASCAR news video dropping. We'll talk about some news. O'Reilly Auto Parts talked about that earlier today with the new entitlement sponsorship. We'll talk about Colleague and Trackhouse with manufacturing rumors around both those teams with Honda and Dodge being involved with that and Ram as well. We're also going to talk about supercar guys like Will Brown, Brock Feeney, Cam Waters, Jack Perkins. Talk about people like Haley Deegan, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bo Wallace, Ross Chastain, Sheldon Creed, Sam Mayer, Clay Zafar, Dodge Ram, all the good stuff. Talk about some of the other news that's been coming out as well. And the 2026 NASCAR schedule sounds like it's coming soon. We'll talk about the Chicago news, Chicagoland, Mexico City not being on the calendar, and also North Wilkesboro likely getting a points paying date as well. We've got some fun content dropping really soon on the channel with Kyle Larson, Chase Light, Ryan Priest too. We'll talk about all the kind of stuff with Connor Zolch, Junior Motorsports, all that too very, very soon. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode. I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content, other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, buddy.